take a ride with the garbage truck, and make it back to Andy's. Didn't Woody leave a note?
Well, first they got to wash themselves off, sneak back in.
Buzz,
Woody says goodbye.
Buzz smugly puts down his helmet as they're washing him up, and Mrs. Potato Head.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, there's my eye.
It's a very touching scene once again, because now they're alive. But now that they are alive, the big question is there, okay, what now? Are they going to the attic? Is that the ending? So they say goodbye. The toys accept. We're going to go to the attic, and it's going to be okay,
Jesse
Woody. You're
knows
going
how
to
to turn
college
on
with
Buzz's
Andy.
Spanish
And
mode.
as someone who kept toys, I went to college, but I never lived in like a dorm. I did live in an apartment. And when I went to this apartment, I was already a collector. So I did take some toys with me. But the big thing I left behind was this little purple bunny. And I have had that little purple bunny literally since the day I was born. And I left it behind because I was like, I'm not going to play with this. But when my little cousins come over, they can play with it.
That purple bunny's name didn't happen to be Bonnie now, would it?
Another Five Nights at Freddy's reference.
And a joke to the Toy Story 3. There's a character named Bonnie.
It all connects. No, it was just a purple bunny. He didn't have a name. He was just the bunny, Neil's bunny.
But I like how when he wrote the note to because I think Andy's mom found it.
No, it was Andy who found it.
Oh yeah, and
after that play date, he looked at him. He was relieved to see him. He was gonna put him in the attic, but he saw the note. And Woody, imagine what would they never show the note, but imagine what Woody wrote there. He probably wrote something like, Bonnie would be a good owner, or please give these to Bonnie or something. And I love this scene. It's so subtle, but this is the only time in all of Toy Story where Woody talks to Andy and communicates with Andy.
Oh my goodness! Why didn't Woody become pen pals with Andy? He could have left him notes for years.
I didn't think about that actually. Yeah, you're right. This was like the only time he kind of talked to Andy.
Oh, speaking of pen pals, as an Easter egg, which was really cool, Andy is a pen pal to Carl Fredricksen from Up.
Really?
Yeah, in an earlier scene, I believe it's a scene where Woody's pushing aside notes on his pinboard to see a photo or something. If you look at the address, I could be mistaken, I think it's Carl Fredricksen's address, and they're pen pals.
No, knowing Pixar, it probably is.
But
so, guys, I've been dancing around it, but the scene comes.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Andy takes the toys to Bonnie. We get a shot from the box. We think maybe it's Woody looking at him, saying goodbye. And
what a brilliant way of filmmaking.
Andy goes through every toy. Talks about the games he played, how much he cares about them, that they mean a lot to him. He talks about Buzz. He talks about Jessie. He talks about them all. And in that moment, if you were a kid who had a favorite toy, you know exactly what he's doing. He's going through.
Yeah, 100%.
And he's saying his story that he made with these toys. Characters like Mr. Potato Head and Buzz Lightyear, they are established characters with franchises in the world. But these are Andy's. This is Andy's Buzz Lightyear. This is Andy's Mr. Potato Head. And these are the stories he told with them. And I love that. That's what's important in this scene. Not the toy story, but Andy's story.
But I also really like when he's telling Bonnie all these toys, right? Mm-hmm. And then when he sees Buzz, she's like, "My cowboy." And Andy's
or
face.
Woody, rather. You said Buzz.
Oh, dang it! I'm sorry.
Is that a space cowboy? Do something.
When Bonnie says that about Woody, and you see Andy's face, he's like, and then she goes, "There's a snake in my boot," and he's like, "Oh snap!" And then you see him pull back. You see Andy pull back with Woody like, "Oh," and he's like,
"There's a snake in my boot."
It's a very, very touching scene, especially because Andy has like remorse about it. Andy doesn't necessarily want to do it all the way, but he does, and then he goes through it, and you guys talk about it. You guys talk about it. I'm gonna cry.
They start playing. He starts playing with Bonnie with all the toys. Like that. That scene was so good. I really like that because it's so wholesome. You know what I mean? Because it's like playing with your little brother, your little cousins, and you're just playing with your toys. You're letting your imagination go and having a good time with it. And I love that. I love Andy. That's Andy's way of giving them away and allowing someone that he trusts to take care of it and to have the same adventures that he used to have with it. Like, that's good.
Oh, yeah. I have so much joy when I'm playing with toys with children. I have that same sort of position with Andy, and usually when I'm playing with toys, I usually just go along with what the children are doing because it's a lot more fun. And I usually say some witty things like, "Oh, surely it's scarecrow. Shouldn't be made of hay." No, it's this East one's made of metal. Oh, okay. I guess he's a tin man or something like that. But Andy's just playing with the toys just like he did in old times, and
That's the scene where I cried. Andy is picking up the toys, and he gets one last play date with them. He gets one last time, and he's playing with the new kid that's going to carry the torch and take care of these toys. And he's just having fun, and it doesn't matter that he's an adult because he cares about those toys. He's always cared about them. As Woody said, he kept us all these years. Every yard sale, every donation, he kept us. That means something. And in this moment, we see what it means. And we all know that feeling to have an object that, even though it's just plastic or just like a statue or something, it means the world to us. And losing it is like losing a friend. To the point where when he's talking about Woody, it's almost as if he did know Woody was alive. It's almost like he did know. And obviously he didn't, but it didn't matter. Because to him, the memories he had with Woody were the memories of a friend. Not an item, a friend.
In those last words he had, man. That one I was like, oh, his last words to the toys, like, see you guys. I was like, crud, man.
And that's they are more than trash. They hold a place in Andy's heart. They're gonna live with him forever and ever, just like Winnie the Pooh said in the Grand Adventures. Yeah.
The big question of this movie is: are toys worth something? And obviously, they're worth the price to get them. But are they worth something else? Is Andy insane to want to take Woody to college? Is Lotso right, where they're just plastic? And the answer is, once again, just like Peter Pan, a compromise. Yeah, they're plastic. And yeah, by all definitions, they aren't really valuable. But the memories they create and the impact they have on Andy, that's what's valuable. And the ending to go with that compromise is in of itself a compromise. They don't go to the play date, to the daycare. They don't stay with Andy. They go on to a new owner because these toys get to create new memories.
Yeah.
Because that's what's important. The memories. The toys themselves are merely the catalyst to create these creativity. And look at what Andy created in the intro. Look at his game he created with the monkeys and the giant robot spaceship. That's what toys can do. They can create stories. And
go ahead. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead. No, you.
I'll do it!
The farewell and the toys, too, are sweet. Woody's final words to him was just, so long.
See you, partner.
I was like, gosh, darn it. Like, I was like, oh, man. Because it felt like they were talking to us, you know? You're like, 'cause again, we all thought that was the end. We all thought this was the last Toy Story movie. So we were all like, dang.
It
And then
should've been.
besides the point of when and then Woody was like, hey guys, you got some Dolly, you know, and introduced all the new toys, and then it pans up to the clouds, and the clouds
Those
look
classic
like
Pixar clouds.
Andy's wall.
Andy's bedroom.
That I love that. Loved it. And of course, we get to hear Randy Newman sing a new song, We Belong Together.
We belong together.
A damn
Now-
good song, if you ask me.
Nice. Very, very good.
And during the credits, it is revealed that Sunnyside is a better place now. Ken is in charge. And in the Caterpillar room, they take shifts.
Look at that. Like the Ken doll. Voiced by Michael Keaton. The man.
Michael Keaton?
Wait, what?
Michael Keaton voiced Ken. Yeah, I looked it up. Michael Keaton voiced Ken. I
What?
had no idea.
What?
The guy can
Whoopi
act.
Goldberg. Michael Keaton.
The guy can act. Oh, dang.
Buttercup is also a celebrity cameo. I don't remember the actor who voiced him, but he is a cameo as well.
And I love the way,
Ooh.
like you said, now Sunnyside is just a nice place. They take shifts. It's kind of a resort for recovering toys. And now everybody's happy. Look at Ken. Look at Ken now with Barbie.
The army guys show up, and they get to live at Sunnyside now.
This
Which
is
I
all-
wonder if Barbie was ever like, oh, hey, Sarge, what's up?
Oh, dang it, you again. Darn it.
We were trying to escape, Andy. You're a reminder of our pain. But with that, let's go into final thoughts. Let's start with Ron, because you're the guest.
Man, love this movie. You've been saying, Mr. Neal, over 50 times this whole episode. Yeah, Toy Story is as close as perfect as you can get as a movie. And for a lot of people had thought it was going to be, this is to me if we count Toy Story 4 as an epilogue, Toy
Yeah.
Story 3 is a great conclusion
Yes.
to this film as a trilogy because it handles everything. Gave every character time to speak and breathe. The story was so developed, and us as an audience, even the most cinephile person who can be like, "Oh, I know it's how it's gonna end. Oh, this is how it's gonna be. It's so predictable." You still are connected, and you still care because for that one moment, you didn't think about anything else. You only thought, "What's gonna happen?" And that's the brilliance of writing and directing. It's okay if you think you know what's gonna happen, but you're emotionally connected to the characters. We care about them. We cared about this journey, and this film as a whole was beautiful. It's lovely. It is still when people say what's my my top 5, my top 10 Pixar movies, I never get shy of saying like the Toy Story movies are like in my top 5 because that's how amazing they are. And this film completely shows it too, that this franchise is one of the greatest, not even animated franchises, but one of the greatest franchises in film history.
Oh
And that's a
yeah,
fact.
and it's lasted for almost 2 decades. You got to consider that even websites like Rotten Tomatoes, say what you want, but every single Toy Story film, even number 4, has had nothing but praise on websites like that. It's astounding. Even if Toy Story 4,
We'll get to that.
even if Toy Story 4 isn't as good as Toy Story 3, like you said, it's best seen as an epilogue, not necessarily a next chapter. It's just something, just a little cherry on the top, and it was a pleasant surprise. But Toy Story 3 is just the perfect conclusion. Do you want to finish off your thoughts, Ron?
Everything that I think every Toy Story fan would want, it feels like it grew up with its audience. We connect to where the characters are going, and it doesn't matter if you watched it then, you watch it now, or you watch it later on when you all have your own kids and you have their grandkids. This film's gonna last the test of time.
Oh,
Because it's that good, and it's always a great watch.
I agree with everything that was said. This movie is truly good. It is the perfect ending to Toy Story. I do want to complain more about Toy Story 4. I figure I should save the majority for it if we do eventually do Toy Story 4.
oh.
But I will say this. I feel like Woody's character is better in this one than that movie, and I feel like him leaving the group in 4 isn't a good thing because of how much this family was built up. And this movie does concrete it. They are a family. They go through everything together, and they are even willing to die together. And it's wonderful to watch.
No greater
This
love
is still
than they who sacrifice
good.
themselves for their friends.
You've seen this movie already. If you're watching this, you've seen this movie. But it is worth going back to. It is worth studying with how they paid off the other 2 movies that
Just
had
like
come
we
out
did.
beforehand. With how they pull. And you got to remember, this movie came out years upon years after 2.
With some significant visual improvements, mind you.
Oh, yeah.
100%, Calvin. You look the way that the toys look like from Toy Story 1 and the Toy Story 3, and not even that. Look at Andy. Look how he looked as a kid.
He looks so much better.
Man, he actually looks like a person.
All of the toys move differently. Barbie and move differently. Buzz and Woody.
And you gotta
Lotso
consider,
moves
this
differently.
is a team that went from the nightmare fuel of Tin Toy all the way to Toy Story 3, yeah.
I like Tin Toy.
That baby is terrifying!
I like him.
And look,
What's wrong with you?
And Neil, only gonna say this about Toy Story 4. As much as, in my eyes, it's the weakest one of the Toy Story franchise, but it's okay. It's still, even the weakest, can still be a good movie.
That says a
One
lot
thing I
about the
appreciate
quality.
about it a lot is not only, again, how I feel like it's an epilogue to the story, how it's Woody's midlife crisis, but also, too, the animation of the water, the beginning of that movie with the water, that rain looks so good. It's insane.
You know what, Ron? I think you have cemented yourself in this episode. I don't think we can do the other Toy Story movies without Ronald Smith. Are you willing to commit yourself to being on all 4 movies
Join
here
the
on
family.
Disney+Pals? Are you willing to sign that and be the champion Toy Story 4 deserve?
Join the cult.
If Toy Story 4 needs someone to defend it from the evil emperor that is Neil, I think I gotta do it. I don't gotta defend Toy Story 2 because that's my favorite Toy Story of all, and I know you like it. I don't need to defend Toy Story 1 because I know you all like it. But for Toy Story 4, I don't mind.
We'll make the schedule work. We'll get you in all of them. We'll make it work. I will.
It needs a hero.
It needs a hero. You will be Toy Story 4's Nickelback.
And the
I also like Nickelback. But with that, ladies and gents, it's time to move on to the theme park. Now, obviously, there's a whole Toy Story land in the park now. I don't know if any of us have ridden that. There is also, of course, Buzz Lightyear's Shooter, which is awesome, but I think we should save that for Toy Story 2. And there is, of course, Toy Story the Musical, which, don't worry, it will have its time. But the specific ride I think we're going to bring up today is Toy Story Mania, which this is also kind of pulled from 2, where it was Disney California Adventure's first really big ride, and maybe the reason that Paradise Pier became Pixar Pier. It is a ride which incorporates video game style with a moving track ride. You fire from your little cannon. And
nice.
It's really cool. Have you guys seen stuff about this? It released a Wii game, so it's possible some of us might have actually played it. I played it.
I mean,
I don't know.
Oh yeah, there was a Wii game about that. Yeah, there was that. That's part of the merchandise. I mean, Toy Story 3 has also had its own game, which is, well, that goes without saying. Many movies, even to this day, have their own tie-in game.
Of course.
There's some significant impacts on certain things. In the theme parks, there were some Toy Story themed rides even before Toy Story 3. Am I correct in saying that? Because there was a Buzz Lightyear ride, and that was awesome.
We don't have Will here, so the Buzz Lightyear ride is dope, and we will definitely be bringing that up with Toy Story 2. Unless you'd like to say a little about it now,
I-
Callum. We'll just talk about
Actually,
everything in general.
come to think of it, I think that Buzz Lightyear ride would be better as a theme park ride based on the Buzz Lightyear movie, which was a spin-off movie of Toy Story. But that's another story. In Disneyland Paris, there was also a Toy Story Mania Land where there were several rides. There was one that was fun for the families, even though it was a bit of a crybaby with roller coasters, but then liked it anyway. There was, and that was the Slinky Dog ride where he just goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That was fun. The next advanced one is the army men, those green little soldiers. They take you on these seats. You go up and 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 up, and then they make you go whoosh, like you're going on a parachute mission. Go, go, mission, go. The most.
So would you guys like to hear a little story about Neil Burrows? Just for a second.
I can briefly mention the race car one, which is the most extreme one. But okay, go on, Neil.
So as a boy, I was quite good at climbing, and when I went to Disney World, I stayed in a Disney Resort hotel where there was a Toy Story themed area. It was just an area with these statues. You could see them. They were big. And one of them was of Rex. And I remember it's just casually talking to my mom and saying, boy, wouldn't it be cool if you could get a picture of me on top of that? And so I climbed up the statue of Rex, sat upon him, and got my picture taken.
Wow.
And it was glorious. I don't know if I still have the picture. I can try to find it. But that was definitely one of those childhood moments of, oh my gosh, I am leading Rex into battle. No one was around. I'm pretty sure me climbing it was not permitted, but I did it anyways because I'm a rebel. So, anything else to add about the theme parks? We've told a couple stories. We didn't focus on one topic this time, but that's okay. Anything else to be said?
I mean, what
Go ahead,
in Toy Story Land and Disney World is amazing. I remember the first time I went there with my family. It's like anything else with something new. You have to get there first when the park opens, and I think it's in Hollywood Studios. It is. It's so nice. Because my sister and I weren't able to get on the Slinky Dog ride because the line was out of this world. It's so long. So we went on the other ride. I think it's the Buzz. I think it was the Buzz ride. I think that's what it was on the top of my head. But it's nice. I know they're gonna try to add a restaurant over there. They're gonna try to add some more things to make it more stuff for the families to get along with. But it's really nice. I enjoyed it very, very much, and it's something that I never get tired of going to, and I'll definitely go check that out again when I go there.
So,
but
let me get this straight.
Get there early.
Let me get this straight. They're adding a restaurant to Toy Story Land.
I think
a restaurant in the Toy Story universe. What kind of restaurant would be perfect for Toy Story? Perfect. It's got to serve pizza, and it's got to be on the planet. But what restaurant would that be? What planet would have pizza? A planet with pizza. Pizza planet. Pizza planet.
My.
Do that. Darn.
They gotta do Pizza Planet. If they're doing a restaurant, they gotta do Pizza Planet, man. That'd be so cool.
It's too easy.
So what? You want to eat at Woody's Steakhouse or something? I want to eat at
Woody's Roundhouse.
Woody's Steakhouse or Buzz Lightyear's To Infinity and bacon.
No, guys.
Dang, no.
Yours have a cakewalk compared to my idea. Mr. Tortilla Head.
Dang,
It's a Mexican restaurant, and all of your food comes with little potato head parts on it. I would love that. I think that's better.
Or a burrito. Oh, it was burrito. I was meant to say burrito, but either way, that sounds better.
Well, now, ladies and gents, we have reached that wonderful time. It is once again Neil's Merch Spotlight.
Oh, Mark, please. Where do we even begin?
What do we do to deserve this? Oh no.
So, once again, this one's going to be a little weird because there's a lot of merch for this. So instead of saying one thing, through some stuff we've already kind of talked about. as I Twitch, the buff dragonfly. I think he's really cool. I don't know how affordable he is right now. I got him from
let's
Toys
just
R Us,
go to-
but he's a real good toy.
And
He's
let's
got
just...
movable parts,
Yeah.
wings. He's cool. We got Smells Like Strawberries Lotso,
So, yeah.
which I had seen in people's houses. It's so good. You got to get it. None of these are a spork with glued legs. None of them. These are good toys.
That didn't occur yet. Not yet. I made my own
No,
spork.
thank God. Make your own Sporky. Don't buy a Sporky.
Watch my video
There-
where I make a Sporky from scratch.
I almost promise you, if you look up any of these characters, you will find some sort of merch off them, because Toy Story toys are toys. So for this merch review, weirdly enough, my merch spotlight is the whole movie.
Wait, what?
My challenge to you: pick a character from this movie, Google them, see if they've got a toy, because odds are they probably do.
Alright. Yeah, every one
I
of
mean,
them.
I have one for Toy Story 2 as well, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, you name it, they got him. Mr. Prickles, the Peas, the Totoro plushie, even though he shouldn't be in the Toy Story brand.
They've got Buttercup, they've got Dolly, they've got Mr. Prickle Pants. It is, if you're a collectible hunter, you will find good stuff if you put the word Toy Story in front of it. And with that, ladies and gents, I think it's time for the impact of this particular movie.
Oh, where do we even begin with that? The impact with
I
this
guess I'll go
movie
first.
is like the impact of the merchandise we just talked about.
Well, the impact is, of course, big. This movie came out so long after the originals, and it completely carried the torch and showed it to a new audience, and has kept Toy Story around. Like, I think at this point, once they did 3, Toy Story was already a classic, but now I think it's an icon, even more than it could have been. I think that without Toy Story 3, maybe we wouldn't have gotten all these new things. Maybe we wouldn't have gotten the new Toy Story park. I'm sure we would still have Toy Story rides and stuff, but I don't think it would be as popular as it is without Toy Story 3 to take it from the past and bring it to the present.
Well, if you think about it, Toy Story 3 became the first, I'm reading this, was the first animated film to gross $1 billion worldwide. Like,
Whoa.
that's amazing on itself. To do that and also you talk about the impact of it. Remember, even before years later that we got Toy Story 4, Disney never stopped making Disney content because like Cal and I were talking, they made a lot of shorts, and those shorts were good. I guarantee you, if they never made a Toy Story 4 and we were only getting Disney shorts from here and there, none of us would be complaining because we all liked it.
Happy. I would have been more happy if that's what happened.
But the thing is too is that the only big complaints people did have was that what happened in Bo. We know Bo was sold, but where's Bo? And that's what look. In a way, that's what we wanted from the next one. That's what we wanted. We all wanted to know what happened to Bo. Granted, we got another short that came on Disney Plus that told us what she was doing while she was gone before they met her up in Toy Story 4. But besides the point, that's the impact of Toy Story 3 because also too a lot of the creators this film also went to do other movies that gave them opportunities to touch and make other big movies. So you got to go from somewhere, and it's one of the most perfect franchises in film.
Oh, all right.
And that's on fact.
So many of my notes were just saying this movie is perfect. This movie is so good. It's so perfect. And how could it not be with this star power and this ingenious story? Toy Story 3 really does feel like the end, and I think that affected people too.
How many people were look, I know it's a long way of remembering it, but a lot of people were mad that Toy Story 4 came out, right?
Right.
And everyone said the same thing, repeated the same words over and over and over again. This isn't needed. We didn't want this. Why are you doing this? This is a cash grab. Because the impact of the third one. We all loved it. worldwidely was loved. So everyone felt this was the end. There was nothing else to do with it. So that's why that first negative that first negative energy came to the fourth one. That's a reason.
And 2 also could have been like an ending. It ends on a pretty happy note. They could have stopped there, and I don't think anyone would have complained.
They didn't make another Toy
3 is
Story
so
movie
perfect.
for so long. Yeah. 3 is a perfect.
What was that, Callum? You were kind of quiet.
Sorry. Once again, we have this terrible habit of interrupting each other. We need to fix that.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
We gotta love it when we interrupt each other. You gotta consider that. Yeah, they could have left it at Toy Story 2. They didn't make a Toy Story movie for such a long time. I mean, when did Toy Story 2 come out? Was it 1998 or something? It was around that time.
I think it came out 1999.
1999, just the year after I was born. You can actually look up when these movies were released on Disney+. The dates will be right there and the genres. And
it fixed itself.
Toy Story 3 came out in 2010. That's 11 whole years after Toy Story 2, whereas Toy Story 2 came out about 4 years after the original.
Yes.
And of course, the voice actor who played Andy obviously grew up, and thank God they brought him back, and it was all the more impactful for that. And
that was the same kid?
Yeah, that was the same actor. He's playing grown-up Andy.
He did a great job.
Oh, aye. Really did. I wonder what he's done.
But I think the biggest impact of this movie, we've sort of talked about this entire time, the fact that it grew up with you.
Yes.
Like this movie became sort of an analogy for moving on to the next step of life, and it really hits people. Like, say what you want, but at the end, Andy lets go of his toys. He doesn't keep them. He still cares about them, and he's always going to care about them. But he has to move past them, and that's pretty big, especially for a company that makes a lot of money off of merchandising.
Mm-hmm.
This movie could have very well been, keep your toys forever, take them to college, buy more when you're like 80. Pixar is just so smart, though, and they told this incredible story that I feel like sticks. Like, the one that hit me the hardest is this one. I love to. I will always love to. I'm literally going to rewatch 2 here in a couple days just to see which is better. But 3 hit me, and 3 is going to stick with me. And I'm always going to remember Andy playing with his toys one last time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a big movie. It's everything about it. It's just big. I mean, moving on, growing up. This is big. I mean, it's one thing to have a coming of age story with the likes of The Lion King or Jungle Book or something like that, where you got to accept responsibilities. But it's another thing to have this franchise, which in a way is about this one kid learning to move on and to grow up and to give away parts of his childhood. I mean, childhood's a very, very fragile, a precious thing. We hold on to it. It's a magical thing. Childhood is. Yes, it's.
And I think that last scene, buddy, is Andy saying, "I'm going to move past childhood, but I'm never going to let go of it."
All right.
Keep your inner child. You know, you can grow up. It's all right. You know, we all gotta grow up eventually, but it doesn't mean that you have to get rid of that inner innocence. You know, and I like that.
Yeah.
For the ranking system, this is obviously a Disney must.
Yeah.
Like,
you gotta watch.
Come on.
I think you have to watch the previous 2 for it to hit harder with you.
Oh yeah.
To get there, you have to.
Oh yeah, when you grew up with these characters, and that's something we didn't really bring up, but this is a perfect ending, and because of that, you do need to watch the other 2. Like, you don't start a book at the final chapter.
Exactly.
But with that, ladies and gents, it is time for a finale of this episode.
To move on.
How do we do a finale? We move on to the final question. Dun, 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 dun. All right, guys, our final question is, if you were a toy, what kind of toy would you want to be?
Oh man.
Would you be an action figure? Would you be a plushie? Would you be a collectible statue? Which would you be? How would you want to be played with? And what would be your role as a toy?
I didn't think about that. Dang.
Callum,
I've got an idea.
do you have an answer?
Yeah.
I know what you'd be, Callum, but go ahead and say your answer.
It might be something different, but I'm a very energetic person, so I always like it when toys get to move a lot. I mean, as cute as plushies are, I mean, I like Totoro as a plushie, but for me, if I were ever to become a toy, I'd probably be an action figure with movable parts, and you know how you get those Japanese Figma figures where you can replace the faces and the hands to hold different objects? That would be me, because you know me. I have these Jim Carrey-like expressions, and I'd have my signature short blue collared shirt and waistcoat, which I always love to wear, and shorts and trainers.
Fancy.
Yeah, really fancy. And
Now, you see, Callum, I disagree. Would you like to know what you'd actually be?
Excuse me.
a
You want
Play-Doh.
to know what you'd be? Because it's perfect. I thought of it, and it's perfect for Callum. You
Go
would be
ahead.
a sock puppet. And then whenever people would play with you, you would do a different voice. It would be so good. You would be a puppet, Callum.
Oh,
Am
yeah.
I right or am I right?
You're right, all right. Let's go smelling. I might smell like cheese. I might as well put on
And
some
then-
body spray.
And then I would get puppet Callum, and it would be like, "Hey, everybody, I'm a dunderhead." I wouldn't even do a voice. I'd just be like, "It's me, Callum. What up?"
This is because I brought
Ron.
puppets into the show.
Have you thought of your answer, my dude?
I would like to be one of those, you know, where you have to put that thing, the toy together. You don't really play with it, but it's the toys that you have to get the glue, put all the pieces all together, and then it's like a kind of like a monument you put on your countertop.
Oh, I was
I'm
gonna say a Russian nesting doll, but do you mean like a model?
Yeah, I think kind of like that, because you know you just put me up. I don't want to be that kind of toy you're gonna be throwing me away, because I ain't all energetic. All right,
Laid
I'm
back.
a quiet dude. I like to be on my own. So if you just put me on your countertop or you put me on your kitchen table, and you see me walking by and you're a little sad or you're a little alone, you see me, you're like, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be okay. That's it.
I like how, Ron, your answer is like the most Ron answer ever. Hey, Ron, what would your role be as a toy? I would just chill on a shelf. I'd just chill out. I'd be there for people to admire. That's my role in the toy box.
I'd be there to interact and with the children. Yeah, that's very personal answers. I love it. Although, guys, I think we overlooked something. We would all be this wonderful toy, and this is my favorite toy either. Lego.
No.
I would not be Lego.
No,
I'm not a fan of Legos.
Away like crazy.
But I would love to build with Legos. As a toy in the toy box, I would use the Legos and make a little house.
I literally have a big box of Lego. Lego is a timeless toy, and not just for kids, but for grown-ups. Grown-ups love using it to make art. Grown-ups love using it to make stop-motion animations. It's timeless. Lego's the timeless toy, everybody.
I have thought about it, and while I think it is very possible I would be an action figure, because I'm a very energetic kind of person, I think I would be a plushie. Because, like, you know, I'm easy. I can be a collectible. I could be a toy.
I was just imagining little plushy you know, with your little tongue sticking out, green eyes, green t-shirt.
Oh yeah, I'd be adorable.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be a plushie that acts like an action figure. Like I would do all this really cool flips and stuff, but in reality, I'm like super soft. So when I fall off a cliff to my doom, I just sort of bounce and jiggle, and I'd be like, "Yeah, cuddle me." I like this. Ron is a very elegant statue. Callum's a sock puppet, and there I stand as a plush teddy bear Neil.
Just gotta get those teddy bear ears on.
This is the best timeline. We need art of that. I can't create art of that. Though.
I'll make it.
Tell him draw. You do it. You gotta put Ron on a shelf and everything. You gotta have him doing some sort of glorious pose.
If I can make him choke Patrick, this will be no bother.
Oh,
And with that, ladies and gents, thank you for watching Disney+Pals. Ronald, thank you for joining us, and it sounds like you're going to be back when we do the other Toy Story things.
I gotta defend the one that needs to be defended the most.
When I'm needed, I will be there.
Wait a minute.
So, Ron, go ahead and plug your stuff, buddy.
Look, I got not much to say. Don't mean just anything, guys. Today's not about me. You know, the world's been support those who need support the most. Today is, as everyone knows, is Black Tuesday.
Oh.
And Blackout Tuesday. So all that means is register yourselves to vote. Be kind to people, okay? This world could be mean, all right? So please, be true. Hate is not worth it, okay? Be kind, all right? Understand what people are going through. Don't argue. Take a step back and just understand their point of view on how life is. Love is better than hate. Don't forget that.
Be real.
Well, I mean, this is all heartfelt, but this is going to take some time to edit. This is probably not going to come out in time for today. But
Fine then.
Oh, yeah. It was Black Tuesday.
It was Black Tuesday.
But you know what Ron said? That should happen every day. Just say we are one and we hold hands as we go into the
fire.
Toy Story said, we don't need you to explain why we're one. Toy Story did it for you. Goodbye, everybody.
Wow.
End it on that.
Oh my goodness.
That was great.
Oh,
That was awesome.
We belong together.
Did you enjoy it, man? I know it was long.
I had fun.
This is
That
the
was
longest
fun.
episode.
You know what I mean? I had a good time with you guys.
It was great to work with you again, man.
Look, like I said, like I always said, I never get tired of just having a good chat with you guys. You know, y'all just want to shoot the breeze and just chat with me. I got no problem unless I'm not busy. I know I got things to do. But besides that, you know, you guys I no problem talking to you. Like I talked to Cal from here and there. I ain't got no problem talking.
Hi.
I remember we talked for like 2 hours on Christmas Eve because we were just both bored.
Yeah, we just chatted and shooting the breeze. What's wrong with that? You know?
It's almost like we're friends or something.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Don't put a title on it.
No.
Don't put a title on it.
Oh, y'all crazy.
That's the way we roll.
Yeah, so the show's basically just more chaotic Reactaholics, but you handled it well.
Yeah, I'm used to you boys, so it's like another Tuesday with me, you guys. So it's nothing new.
I mean, we're definitely excited for the new show. I make images for this one, so it's fun to do.
Nice.
Callum, I actually need to talk to you about the editing style.
Okay.
So you know that image at the beginning, where it's like your Disney+Pal thing you made?
It needs to change.
Yeah, it needs to change.
Okay, fine. You know what?
We gotta use the title card.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. I'll adjust.
I like that one. That one's one of my favorites we've done.
Hi. I mean, this is the longest episode we recorded, but you know what? It deserves that length. It deserves every ounce of our respect. And
I think Peter Pan could have gone a little longer too, but this one definitely deserves it.
all right. I also just want to say one last thing. We've been making lots of jokes about comparing Toy Story 3 to anime. But you know what would have made this much more anime? If Woody and Buzz merged together. Andy left. Woody and Buzz joined together, pointed their finger and said, bang. They collapsed on the stairs. Heavenly choir singing. Seatbelt sing blue. And then it pans up to the sky.
You've been watching Disney+Pals. Thank you for watching. Please share this with your friends for more fun and magic.